What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are all doing well today. Thanks for viewing this channel. My name is Ibrahima, and what I do in this channel is I talk about a lot of different experiences that I went through, and I kind of talk about lessons that I've learned from them, and hopefully you guys can benefit from that as well. So in today's video, I actually wanted to talk about something that this was my 2018 this was kind of my focus on 2018, and it's something that I feel like I really wanted to share to all of you guys. And as you guys know, the title, it's the power of patience. And there's this verse in the Quran. As you guys may know, I'm Muslim, so I read the Quran, and there's a verse that it's called "Wasta'inu bis sabri was salah, wa innaha lakabiratun illa al khashi'in." So what that means is, and seek help through patience and prayer, and indeed it is difficult except for the humbly submissive. So back when I was, I think, 20, I was very ambitious. I had a lot of energy. I really, really wanted to just go out and do something with my life. And I really wanted to, achieve a lot of so-called success. And I wanted to do all that. So I started reading a whole bunch of stories, of different people who have so-called made it and things like that. And, I was like, okay, they did it like that. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go in that kind of similar route. So I took a lot of risks. I did a lot of things that a lot of people would have been like, whoa, like, why are you doing that? And I did that because I lacked patience, and I kind of literally took those terms and I kind of just went with it. I didn't analyze what actually, I didn't actually think about anything of that and that kind of aspect. I was just very impatient. I was like looking on Instagram, and I was looking at all these 20-year-olds that were making six figures, and they had the cars, they had all this and that, and I felt like, man, like, these guys are doing it. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not a millionaire? And one of my goals back when I was 20 was to become a millionaire by 23. So as soon as I made that goal, I was working hard at it. I was trying to figure out, how am I going to make $1 million at the age of 23. I was so like trying to figure out, how I'm going to get to this. How am I going to make $1 million? Like, how am I going to be a millionaire? Like, I was so like focused on it that I was, things came my way, and I started to figure out, okay, maybe I'll take this approach, I'll take this route, I'll take this route, take this route, and I did a lot of research on it. But one thing that I found was, anytime I was going to do something, as soon as, once reality kicked in, like, that I'm doing this and I'm doing this for good, like, this is something I'm gonna do, I felt burnt out at that point, and I kind of gave up on it. And like I said, that's because I lacked patience. When I was doing photography, I went to school for it. And something that happened was, I was in school, but when I was in school in the first semester, I was so focused on making $1 million that I didn't even focus in school. Like, I wasn't even in class. I was trying to focus on working on a business instead of focusing on just mastering a craft. So I was so focused on just the business side of things that nothing happened in the business side, and I wanted to give up on photography. And that's because I lacked the patience. I think I was 21 back then, and I was very impatient. And same thing happened when I gained a lot of followers on Instagram, and I started to grow a little bit of an audience. I was impatient. I was like, people, like, I wasn't focusing in school. I wasn't focusing on the craft itself. I was more focused on just growing on Instagram and trying to figure out how to monetize it. And I only had 3,000 followers. What can you do with 3,000 followers? Like, there's not much, unless it's like there's a lot of value, but there's not much you can do with 3,000 followers in terms of monetization. So I had a huge ego, and I had no patience whatsoever. And then once reality kicked in, I was like, wow, this is what you're gonna have to do. Like, is this really what you want to do? I kind of went about it too fast, and then all of a sudden, like, I kind of burnt out, and I went through a deep depression, and I went through something that I shouldn't have gone through. And as a result, it kind of didn't, it kind of it prevented me from moving forward. So what happened was, when I was 22, I decided to go back to work, and because at that time, before that, I was doing photography full time. So I decided to go back to work and just do a job, and that's when I said, you know what, from today, instead of focusing on trying to make that $1 million by 23, or trying to make, trying to be like a super rich person, right now, focus on focus on yourself, focus on your mental health, because that's something that was deteriorating. It was something that was just not there. It was something that was kind of neglected on my side. So I decided, you know what, let's focus on your mental health for now. Focus on, doing the job that you do. Focus on making some money, because by September, I wasn't, like, I kind of stopped doing photography full time by June. So I literally had no money. I was like, I was sitting around at home all the time, not doing anything, and no flow was coming in, and there was some flow coming in. I was still getting gigs, but I wasn't doing it full time. I wasn't serious about it. So pretty much no flow was coming in, and I wasn't doing anything with my life. And I realized, you know what, you got to take things a little bit slower, and you gotta enjoy you gotta go through the process instead of trying to get to the end goal. Because something that I've realized about life in general, that it's whatever happens, it's never gonna end. Like, I was reading this book. Actually, I'll show you guys. I'm looking at the book right now. It's called Principles by Ray Dalio, and it's one of the first things I read in this book. It's kind of a book you kind of open, and one of the things that I've noticed was, in the book, even Ray Dalio said, I think he's like 68 or something like that, and he's had, I think, $19 billion. Like, he's one of the richest people in the world, and he said, like, it just never ends. Like, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be something. So in January, February, March, I decided, you know what, let's take a different approach. Instead of trying to be some kind of person in 1 year, let's focus on who you can become in 10 years. So that's when I decided to do YouTube, and I decided, you know what, let's take things slow. Let's go slow with everything. Let's not rush anything, but let's be consistent. So I focused a lot on my mental health, and it was something that I really, really prioritized, and it all required patience. Patience is something that it's very, very hard for a lot of us, because we live in an age of instant gratification, and it's something that we kind of feel entitled. We kind of feel like we deserve to have something now, and even sometimes we'll get into a certain situation, and it'll be like, oh yes, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. It doesn't happen. It gets prolonged. It gets extended. It just doesn't work out the way that we planned it to work, and that's all normal things. Like, stuff like that happens, and it's something that I think it needs to be emphasized, that whatever you want, it's always going to be longer than what you expect, and it's always going to be harder than you think. So with patience, it's something that I've learned. It's something that I've definitely, it's one of my biggest things, and it's a thing that really holds me firm, because there's times when you're in a certain situation and you just don't know how to get out of it. Like, no matter how much you try, it's like nothing works out. But one thing that I've learned about patience is, sometimes it's just best to take a step back and just kind of let things flow in its own. As a Muslim, I believe, as a Muslim, we believe that the Allah, God, will guide us. Sometimes what Islam means is to submit, and to submit means to sometimes let go and completely just let things flow. And that's something I've been really working on, and I've been really doing this last year. And because of that, I've been way more calm. I've been way more, just content with everything that's going on. Obviously there are times when I want things to go like the way that I want it to go. There are times when I want things to become There are times when I want my videos to be way better. There are times when I want a certain situation to work out better. There are times when I'm just like, man, like, what am I doing? Like, where I'm questioning what I'm doing. There's times when I'm questioning, a lot of things. But I've noticed that when I decide to just focus on the goods, and when negatives come, I kind of just take a step back and just kind of let things flow. It really does work. And I think I have a few notes here that I wanted to discuss, but you know, it can come in a lot of different ways. Patience can come in terms of waiting. Like it can be waiting for the bus. It could be, waiting for someone to come to your house. It could be waiting for a certain day to come. It can be waiting for a certain circumstance. It could be waiting for your big break. It could be anything. And that's something that I think that's something that I'm sure you guys already understand. Like this is something that patience is like, that's like the I can think the main common term for patience, like where you're waiting, you're just like waiting for the bus. Oh, I'm being patient. Like that's what is kind of the common term. Patience can also come in terms of people. Sometimes people come into our lives, and sometimes those people are not the best for us, and those people can teach us lessons. They can sometimes those people will push us to a certain extent where we don't even know how to deal with it, and we don't understand how to control it. And sometimes it can push us to a point where we start to feel we start to give up, and we really don't know what to do. And what I've learned is, when I submit and I kind of just say, okay, you know what, let it be, just kind of let them free flow. Sometimes it's best to give them that space to understand what's really going on and really comprehend things, and just be patient with people. Like, I've dealt with so many different personalities, and I've dealt with a lot of difficult personalities. But one thing that I found was, no matter how much like they may have irritated me, no matter how much they may have gotten to me, maybe no matter how much they may have tried to hurt me, when I kind of when I'm patient, when I kind of say, okay, you know what, I'll let it run its course, but if it goes too long, then I'll hold my ground. But before that, I'll be patient. I'll see what's going on. I'll see like what happens, because when you're patient, you start to see things that person may not see. So you start to see things within that person that person may not even understand, and you can help that person understand what they're actually going through. So that is something that's very very important. And even with in terms of like these YouTube videos, a lot of people have approached me and said, hey, your videos are getting better, like there's a lot of good quality in your videos, but I feel like, oh, your videos are this, your videos are that, they're too long. And at first, I was aiming to really try to be like I was looking to be those other YouTubers or those other filmmakers. I was trying to be those guys. But what I realized was, it wasn't true to me, and it wasn't me. So I was chasing this thing, and I wasn't patient with that. And I realized, you know what, these guys have spent maybe 10 years working on this craft, maybe 7 years working on this craft. But one thing they never gave up. So even me. So that's one thing that I struggled with when I was making videos, and I still do. And I sometimes I upload videos and I don't feel like it's the best of qualities. Sometimes I feel like I can do better. Sometimes I feel like, that maybe I'm just winging it, maybe I'm doing this and that, but I'm patient. I want to upload once a week. This is my main priority, uploading once a week, and I want to make sure that I'm sending out a message that is true to me, and that really actually means something, like something real. Now, the next one is stress. Now, stress is something that comes into our lives. It comes to everybody's life. We all deal with stress. There's always something that can happen. It could be work. It can be people around us. It can be our health. It can be, it can be financially. It can be anything. One thing that I've noticed about stress is something that it's something that it's not like you can control it, but it's something that you can understand. So when you start to understand why you're feeling stressed out, you can kind of go back and you can kind of comprehend everything that's going on. And then from there, when you comprehend, you start to accept. And then when you accept, then that's when you can finally move on and you can kind of move forward from everything. So stress is something that is it's in all of our lives, but it's something that it can be understood and comprehended. And the last one, I mean, there's a lot that we can discuss in this video, like in this, but I don't want to hold you guys for too long. So the last one is life circumstances. You know, things happen in life, things happen to everybody. Things can really hurt us and things can really pain us. And sometimes we don't know how to understand that. But one of the things that, that we can do is we can, as the other with stress, it's understand and comprehend. And really, I feel like sometimes we react too much on emotion. And something that I learned, like when I was boxing, and I think I discussed this in a previous video, was I was boxing and I was boxing someone and I was sparring him and I got him decently well, and all of a sudden he hit me. Like, I got hit. And as soon as he hit me, I reacted right away. Like, I went hard. I reacted straight away. Right away, I reacted. And then the coach came up to me and he was like, you got to control your emotions. You got to control your emotions. And I was like, how do I do that? He's like, breathe. He's like, when someone strikes you and you feel it, take a step and then go back. Don't react right away, because if you react right away, you're not thinking based on your senses. You're just kind of going at it, and you become a brawler. If you want to be a boxer, you got to understand these things. You got to be real with these things. But if you want to be a brawler and like someone like that, then keep doing what you're doing. So that was a big lesson, and that was not even that long ago. And from there, I was like, anytime something happened to me, I wouldn't react right away, because I knew that if I reacted straight away, I would kind of just, it wouldn't go the way that I would want it to go. But when I took a step back, it gave me time to think, and it gave me time to really focus on understand what was really going on. So that is something that really helped me, just to take a step back and kind of understand everything that's going on. And I know this may sound like some people say, well, this is like Zen, or this is all that woo woo. Like, people talk about all this stuff, but the reality is it's a busy life. Everybody's going through something. Everyone has something in their head. Everyone has a stress. Everyone has a vision. Everyone has a goal. Everyone knows what they want with their lives. But one thing that we all have is we all struggle to a certain extent. And to be patient during those struggles, and to be patient during our goods as well. When you're going through good, that's when you cherish the moments. That's when you understand. That's when you start to be appreciative. When you go through hardships, that's when you start to, understand. That's when you start to comprehend. That's when you start to be patient. Patience is something that I'm going to talk about this in a lot of different videos, but patience is something that it honestly changed my life. Like, it changed my life for so many reasons. And it's something that I don't know how much I can emphasize patience, but patience changed my life. Like, it really did change my life. If I can talk about anything and I can discuss anything about like two things that changed my life: prayer and patience. And that goes back to that verse that I went to before. Those two things changed my life. And yeah, but yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you're currently going through something, or you're struggling, or you're going through some kind of turmoil, be patient. Like, I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. Like, in the bottom of my heart, I understand it's hard. Like, it really is hard, but stay patient. Eventually things will work out. Whether they work out in the way that you want it or not, it's gonna work out for the better. So be patient, trust the process, and just keep moving forward. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Please share it with your friends if you found any value from it. I appreciate you guys watching it all the way from this time, and I will talk to you guys in a future video, guys. Peace.